Hey everybody, I'm Adam, and today I have
Jack.
We are in Counter Wargaming today. We are going to dive in and talk about some Inquisitors. So a lot of stuff's been coming out recently, and we want to talk about this because it's new, it's exciting. White Dwarf just released, and they got this big campaign going on. What's that all about?
Psychic Awakenings going on. There's a lot of content coming up for everybody, so Inquisition certainly getting its round this time with no White Dwarf.
Yeah, awesome. So all sorts of little supplements, the campaign books, it's all pushing this big psychic awakening that's happening in the 40k universe. So, very exciting. Now, the Inquisition's getting some special treatment today. We've all been wondering, how can I use my Inquisitors? Like, they've just been useless models for a long time now, and so we finally got some rules, which is nice.
Nobody likes useless models.
Yeah, we paid money for these toys, right? Alright, so it's a full gamut of rules, right? Like stratagems, warlord traits, the whole nine, and we'll cover it all for you today.
Yep.
So let's start off. What the heck's an Inquisitor?
Huh? Who are those guys? Stop asking questions. There's nothing to be heard here. So the Inquisition is this niche little, you'd almost call them like little police within the Imperium, and they run around and deal with, they all have their own crimes they go after, but these guys like to run around in between the Space Marines, in between the Astra Militarum, and they kind of go as they feel like the crime goes. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So where does the assassins kind of operate in the shadows? These guys tend to operate under.
Yeah, these guys will show
cover.
up and take over Space Marine operations, and they'll get resources from people you don't know whose names are way high up the list.
Yeah. Yes, exactly, and deal with all the weird things going on.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite novels of all time are, of course,
Eisenhorn.
Yeah,
it's definitely up there.
Totally.
He would be the first Inquisitor that comes to my mind as far as any of the fiction or the rules. He's an interesting character, to say the least.
Yeah, 40k icon for sure, and his model just came out recently based on the brilliant books by Dan Abnett. So thank you, Dan Abnett, for your contribution to 40k. All right, and so yeah, they're kind of like this weird secret FBI special forces type of person that carry a lot of influence and authority in the Imperium. So like Jack said, they can kind of show up and commandeer entire spaceships or whatever they need, resources for their not personal use, but whatever their mission use is. So very interesting way that they have influence in the universe and within the Imperium. Yeah. Of course, the four famous Inquisitors, we mentioned Eisenhorn already, and the three others also have rules in this book, but they are
Greyfax. I always get it. What's his name? Inquisitor Karamazov. Eisenhorn, as Adam mentioned, and then one of my longtime favorites would be Kotiez, and I know a lot of people are familiar with Kotiez for a mixed number of reasons, but
yes, the poster child of competitive 7th edition 40k.
Yeah.
All right, so why would we want to include an Inquisitor in an army?
So one of the exciting things that the book lays out, they're fun, they have a lot of flavor, they bring a lot of character, they're very unique. I think I've always liked the styling of them showing up in this gothic world of like, yeah, I'm the boss, and nobody questions what they have to say, and they're always terrified, like more so than a Space Marine terrifies a general citizen of the Imperium. An Inquisitor is next level. So there's kind of a fun themeness to that, to like, oh, one of these guys is here. My opponent is a serious problem. And game-wise, there's a lot of fun. They tend to have a lot of psychic abilities, so you can have some fun with psychic spells. And they tend to be very Imperium-based, so if you're playing with a non-mono faction, then there's some fun in there, and they have some versatility with pulling pieces together of different Imperial families.
Yeah. There you go. So there you go. So you can really set a theme for your army, as you heard right there. They work in really well to like narrative play style campaigns or missions.
Yeah.
So definitely consider them in your next campaign if you play Imperium. And hopefully by the end of this, we'll see they may even give you a little bit of a competitive edge. And so there you go. There's 3 good reasons why to include Inquisitors in your force. So that being said, how the heck do you get this model into your force, or models as such?
Great question. So right off the bat, there's going to be 2 things to point out. So first is one of the core rules that they have, all the Inquisition, is called the authority of the Inquisition. And so what this says, if you're taking just a warlord, just an Inquisitor in your army, then they don't disrupt the monofaction balance of the rest of your army. So if you're playing Iron Hands or Imperial Fists or Black Templar in my case, you can take one of these guys in your army and they're not going to upset your chapter tactics. They're not going to upset the what's the other one called?
Claiming objectives for troops and all that.
Yeah. The combat doctrines, all of that stuff is going to stay intact. So that's what's fun about this, is they can come in and kind of like add a little flavor, but then they keep the rest of your army in whole, so you haven't quite hit that soup status that everybody's talking about, and you're not going to lose the benefits of playing all the rest of your Space Marines. Yeah. So
very key. That's very, very important, because there's so many things out there that if you try and ally them into your army, it breaks all of your special bonus rules, like combat doctrines. So
the only key in this case, if you want to take that Inquisitor, is the whole rest of your army has to be Imperium. So you can't sneak in some orcs and think that Eisenhorn's going to be okay with you.
Sneak in some orcs.
So
for all of you Unbound players out there, quick note.
The other thing to think about, as you're going to choose which Inquisition you're going to take. Sorry.
So there's 4 main Ordos. I think we forgot to mention that earlier in the fluff category. Let's briefly cover that, because that affects your list creation and how you include them in your force. So the 4 main orders are Ordoses.
Ordo.
Ordorses.
Or die. Peace.
The 4 main Ordos are
Malleus,
and they tend to focus on killing demons,
anything chaos.
Yeah,
they really don't like them. Game wise and rules, you're looking at getting reroll hits and wounds against anything with the keyword chaos or demon. So in most of the case, if you're only taking the single Inquisitor, that's the one guy, but he's going to come in and he's going to get very efficient dice and really do his job well against those units.
Yeah, sweet. The second one is
Hereticus.
All right, and they do not like Psychers, right? Yes, or witches of sorts.
Yes, anything that has a bit of telepathicness, but keyword Psyker and Chaos, also Hereticus. Yeah, you're not with the Imperium, you ain't with them. The third option.
So same rules for them. Reroll hits and wounds against those.
Reroll hits and wounds. Same keywords. Chaos and Psyker in this case.
All right. Number 3.
Ordo Xenos.
They don't like aliens. They're the America.
They don't like anything. I lost the word on this one. So
that's okay. Right. So they get their rerolls against anything that's not Chaos,
Imperium or unaligned. Yeah. So we're talking orcs, Tau,
Necrons.
Eldar, Necrons. Yeah, there's a couple in there. I'm sure we didn't. Tyranids.
Yeah.
Anything that.
Chaos Imperium unaligned. There you go. Anything else they get their rerolls against. Pretty cool. And the last one, little known, I actually didn't know that the Inquisition separated itself into basically 2 major camps, right? This is your Ordos Majoris, which is the 3 we just mentioned, and the other ones, these are like your sub-chapters, or they're your Ordo Minoris. Okay.
Yeah.
And so they have special rules for this in here.
Yeah.
How does that go?
So the Minoris, these guys, they have a neat little special rule we're going to find that Adam may find gets a little more competitive here. These models will reroll all hits and wounds against anything with the character keyword. That's a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff. So,
and there's some special rules in here that also give you further benefits with characters and interesting interactions against characters. So I think it's a pretty cool one. But yeah, so the fluff reason behind the Minoris stuff. So you heard, right? So like the Inquisitors want to specialize against a certain threat that is of high threat to the Imperium, right? So demons, you heard, psychically aligned beings or entities, aliens that are a threat to humanity, and then the Minoris ones generally tend to focus on any particular thing that is of interest to the Imperium that needs somebody of high-ranking authority to specially lend themselves to this task, cause, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So some of the things I've found interesting were, people who analyze particular astrological phenomena.
Yeah.
Or the Great Rift, the Cicatrix Maledictum that has broken the Imperium, space sector in half. There's certain guys just focusing on that, guys and gals, I guess, as it could be.
Yeah.
Such as Inquisitor Greyfax right here, but she's a hereticus. But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go. So that's the fluff, and those are the rules for the 4 major Ordos, kind of like your Space Marine chapters. So pick your one as per your opponent, but you got to do it during list creation. I imagine.
Yeah.
So
If you're picking one of the named characters, they all have a particular alignment, much like we see the named characters for any of the Space Marine chapters. Mm-hmm. Depending on which Ordo you choose, you're going to have different implications. If you're looking at a tournament scene, you may know that there's a good chance that 6 and 10 of the top 10 armies of the tournament, if you want to be competitive, are going to be Chaos armies. You have 2 good options, and you can build your list according to that Ordo. If you're taking a more generalized approach because the meta is looking balanced, then you have something where you could take a Xeno option, and that has a lot more versatility. Or you end up taking like the Ordo Minoris, which could be versatile basically against every army, except only going to be their characters. But every army
has characters.
So, and we'll show you what some of those combinations that Adam is going to discuss about some character fun.
Character fun. We all love character fun. All right, so they got some stratagems. There's only 4 of them, but they're pretty interesting. So let's cover them. Why don't you start off? Tell us how many CPs they cost and kind of read some rules, and we'll kind of analyze each one. Yeah.
So first one is Cyclonic Torpedo. We're looking at a 4 CP cost.
Ooh.
Probably, the most, if not tied for the most CPs? Anything 5 out there?
As the Vect stratagem, which is negate someone else's stratagem.
Yeah.
So that would be the only one that's 5. I think it's 5 now that it got FAQ to.
Yeah, that one might be worth using against this. So for Space Marine players, you'll have seen something similar to this stratagem. It's like the orbital bombardment. Mm-hmm. So this is pick a point on the battlefield where your Inquisitor is, and units within 2d6 inches could take D3 mortal wounds on a 4+. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty pricey. We think like if you have some really good targeting options, somebody's got a big castle, got 6 units, 7 units, it's got a really good potential there. It's a lot of CP, so it might depend on how your list has been built. But if the right target presents itself and you've got a lot of units all castled up, it's going to pay dividends. And if your opponent doesn't recognize that and not make the adjustment, it could really help you in an early turn 1 to score a lot of wounds.
That's it. So my particular favorite combo with this is you would want to maybe stack this with an orbital bombardment of your own.
Yeah.
Now at this point you're investing 7 CPs in this, so this is definitely a certain kind of strategy you're going for.
That's scorched earth.
But you can also, I forgot about this in our previous discussion, you can also take an impulsor with an orbital bombardment and drop that as well.
Yeah.
Now that's potentially 9 mortal wounds on something
per unit. And so if you have 5 or 6 units, your whole turn you could dish out a lot of mortal wounds. So you're looking a bit for some luck from the dice still, but at a high CP cost if you get a bunch of top units. it'll be worth it. You might not use it every day, but if your opponent gives you the chance, like you'll pull the trigger on that combo for sure.
Definitely.
So next we have Seize for Interrogation. This is a 1 CP stratagem as well. So you're going to use this stratagem after an opponent's character is destroyed within 3 inches of an Inquisitor. So this is a nice little, it's sort of like you come in, you pull a Slay the Warlord. If you get that Inquisitor nice and close, it gets pretty nasty for your opponent the rest of the way. Because you're going to get D3 command points right there.
Refunded from your very expensive orbital bombardment.
Yeah.
So
you're getting your 1 back for spending this, and maybe you're going to get half your orbital bombardment back, or your cyclonic torpedo in this case. And then the other real nice benefit is that your opponent's army is negative on leadership for the rest of the rest of the game. So if you are running some librarians or some other psychic spells that are really going after those leadership tests, or you're playing a horde army, could be really nasty if you can get in there and slay that warlord super early.
Totally.
Again, 1 CP, not a lot of risk, but if you can pull it off, all of a sudden the upside is there.
And you gotta have that Inquisitor within 3. That's tough.
That's
it can be
tight.
tough, but try it.
Now, one of the things that will help getting closer with that we didn't mention in the
tell us.
in the building your list phase is as part of the Authority of the Inquisition rules, the Inquisitors are able to ignore the faction rules for entering an Imperium vehicle. So we're talking about jumping in a Space Marine,
Impulsor with an orbital bomber.
Impulsor, Land Raider Crusader. I know we won't see so many rhinos on the table these days, but all of a sudden, you can throw one of these guys in there. So it's very easy to just like throw them in there. They don't have to sit on the table, with your backline troops that you have left in your deployment zone. They can get in a rhino or an Impulsor and fly around.
Now, that could be controversial. I've made a pretty strong case when Jack and I were talking about this beforehand that they could get an Impulsor. If you think otherwise, let's have a chat about it in the comments.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the other 2 stratagems. So we have Inquisitorial Mandate. So with this stratagem, it's 1 CP. Use this stratagem before battle, and this is going to let you take a Warlord if you're... if you're... Okay, hang on. I was going to start this one over again.
Really? Yeah.
Okay, so next stratagem here is 1 CP, Inquisitorial Mandate. So this is very much like the Space Marine Hero of the Chapter stratagem. This is going to allow you to take a Warlord if you didn't already have an Inquisitor Warlord in your detachment. This is going to give
Warlord trait.
Sorry, the Warlord trait.
Yes.
So this is going to give you access to the 6 Warlord traits that are later to be reviewed, in addition to letting you take some of the Inquisition relics. Pretty nice. And again, with the Seize for Interrogation, you have an opportunity to get free CP here, so it's sort of less risk in spending that CP pre-game to take this beefed up Inquisitor in the first place.
Yeah.
So, again, low risk, pretty decent reward. It's just a matter of points. So, next stratagem, we have Requisition. Something we talked about basically, like Inquisition likes to show up and be like, this is mine, we're going over here now. So, 1 CP, use this stratagem in the shooting phase, the fight phase, or your opponent's charge phase, and an Imperium infantry or biker, so here's where that cross-ally meta is really coming to play, an Imperium or biker unit from your army that's within 6 inches of the Inquisitor, and they fire Overwatch or are choosing to fight with until the end of the phase when resolving an attack made by a model.
Okay, so basically, he becomes a little captain.
Yes.
He becomes a little captain to your Imperium infantry or biker units. Right? Yeah, so he gives you the reroll ones.
Yeah, against the specified unit that is the quarry ability of the Inquisitor.
Right,
Which
so
relates back to the order that you've chosen.
He can take the little... Wait,
Yeah, let's... So, until the end of the phase when resolving attacks, they reroll ones against the quarry ability.
With the quarry ability. Yeah. So if they're... So whatever order they are. So your Malleus, your Hereticus, and your Xenos, he becomes a little captain for his retinue.
Yeah.
And his retinue only.
But any Imperium infantry or biker then get his quarry ability. So whatever the Ordo trait you have. So in this case, if you're Ordo Minoris, you're going to grant reroll hits of 1 against characters.
Okay.
If you're Ordo Hereticus, you're going to re-roll hits of 1 against Chaos and Demons.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's not that they... Yeah. It only works against those models.
Yeah, he's going to throw out his Ordo buff to 1 unit in the game.
Yeah.
Not huge, but again, if you've gotten that opportunity, it's a good chance to sort of reduce the burden of needing your captain to be everywhere and throw out a reroll 1s on a unit that's out on one of your flanks or trying to control an objective.
So very situational, may come in handy. Yeah. Pretty cheap though, only 1 CP. Yeah. Maybe it happens.
I mean, if you have which one is it? The big Space Marine Impulsor?
Oh, the tank with lots of guns?
Yeah.
Well, no, but it's only infantry.
Oh, you're right. My mistake.
Yeah, all good. Yeah. But a big unit of 10 intercessors coming up a flank with an Inquisitor, maybe it happens.
Yep.
Maybe it doesn't. Yeah. Cool, so that is your stratagems. We'll be right back with some stats.
Yeah.
We're back with some stats. We're going to cover the 4 named characters and kind of the generic Inquisitor as well, very briefly. And we'll try and blaze through this while focusing on the important parts, right? So give us approximately the stat line for most of the Inquisitors all across the board, named or otherwise.
So the three on foot, we'll call them Inquisitors. So not Karamazov. They are sort of the principal Imperial Guardsman line. Strength and toughness 3. These guys are weapon skill, ballistic skill 3 across the board. You're looking at toughness 5 across the board, 4 attacks, high leadership with 10.
You just said toughness 5.
Toughness 3. Strength and toughness 3, 5 wounds.
5 wounds.
Very good. Sorry. And they're all sitting here with a 3. Well, they all have a different save. So we've got a power armor save. Well, Greyfax has a power armor save with 3+. Cotias is sitting with a 2+. And Eisenhorn with a 4+.
Yeah, and your generic Inquisitor is sitting with some power armor?
4+, and then one of the generic options is to take a Malleus Ordo in Terminator armor. Okay. So he'll take a 2+.
So that's only for Ordo Malleus. He's a Terminator.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Think of them as like souped up commissars, if you will. Like they very much follow a Astra Militarum based stat line.
Got it. Sweet. So Greyfax, she's got some cool stuff. We got her right here. She's got some crazy crossbow. Who knows? All right, what's her deal?
Yeah, so we've got the master-crafted Commodore bolt gun. Condemner, sorry.
So to condemn you, you heretic.
Again, so important, has the bolt gun stat line.
Sure.
Rapid fire 1.
Yeah.
Standard strength 4, -1 damage. But when you're going to shoot a Psyker, resolving attacks with this range attack, the damage characteristic is 3.
Ooh, pretty cool.
So if someone does throw up any Psyker,
yeah,
you get a chance to throw some hurt down. So I think in the new books too, with the Psychic Awakening, we might see a lot of Psychers out on the board. Yeah. If you play a lot of Chaos, you're going to see a lot of Psychers on the board, so that's fine.
Yeah. Units like Brotherhood of Psyker rule, you know what I mean? That could be kind of neat. Thousand Suns, watch out. Grey Knights, watch out.
Yeah.
All right.
We got a Mastercrafted Power Sword.
Sure.
So strength 3, only strength 3, but sitting at -3 and 2 damage. So a couple of 4 swings in there. Chance to do a couple damage last minute. Or some in tight with the rest of your big units.
Mm-hmm.
Frag and crack grenades. Yep. We got a Psycho grenade. So this one's fun too. It's like a frag grenade, but for anti-Psyker and Demon. If it hits one of them, so it's D3 attacks. It's only strength 2, but that's not really where you're going to get your fun with this grenade. If you're attacking a Psyker or Demon, you're going to get some hit rolls on a 6, grant a mortal wound.
Sweet. No, now the fun part about every Inquisitor is basically their special abilities, so let's cover hers.
Right, so I should have practiced saying all the words before. They definitely have fun with this.
Cyoculum?
So the Cyoculum, this model can target character. Okay, so the Silicum
can target the Psyker character or Demon character, even if they're not the closest enemy unit. So that crazy Contender bolt gun that you got, that's damage 3, right? It just snipes on that Demon Prince that's hiding in the back lines. That's essentially the point of that. Yeah. She gets +1 to deny the Witch. Pretty cool because she's the one of them that can cast 1 psychic power, but deny
twice.
Booyah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So really, yeah, you see a lot of Chaos Psychers in your meta. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And then one last Unquestionable Wisdom. What does that do?
Right. So Unquestionable Wisdom is going to give Imperium units the Inquisitor's leadership within 6 inches.
And she's leadership
10.
Beauties.
So if we're going to see a lot of psychic abilities and stuff tested on leadership soon, getting 10 across the board in a nice bubble is going to be pretty handy.
Could be handy.
Yeah.
All right. Do we do Big Daddy Dreadnought Man?
Let's do it.
All right.
Karamazov.
And we got him right here. Figured we'd put him out because I have a customer who wants one painted. And it's not quite painted yet, but, you know, it's still fun and cool. And he's all pewter and lovely.
He's beefcake. This guy's big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the one that really steps out of the guardsman's meta, because obviously very large. So we're looking at strength and toughness 5. So a big buff here. However, despite its size, still only 8 wounds. So you're not going to get sniped out, and you're going to avoid hopefully some of the fire that might come his way. So he gets to hide inside your troops there. Again, 4 attacks. Now, the difference with Karamazov with his attacks is, so he's got 4 attacks with this power sword sitting in here
From his throne.
but he's also got little mini knight feet standing down there, and so he's got the Throne of Judgment stomping feet.
Of course.
Stomping feet are great. I was talking about orcs earlier, right? So the bearer, when using this, gets an additional 2d3 attacks at -1, strength 5, 2 damage. So there's a lot of potential damage gets tossed out there too. And strength 5, you'll wound a lot of, decent amount of stuff.
Yeah. 2d3, pretty consistent for the amount of attacks he'll get.
Yeah.
Love it.
The nice thing about Karamazov, so also has a master-crafted multi-melta. Ooh. So pretty standard stat line with a multi-melta. However, so strength 8, -4, d6 damage. Pretty straightforward. Also getting the reroll the damage die at half distance. However, we know that the master-crafted in this case makes it assault 1. So being able to get a little more extra movement and churn out some, an extra little d6 shots here and there.
Yeah, means you can move, shoot without the -1, which is great, and you could advance and shoot it, which is really cool.
Yeah,
by just taking a -1 penalty.
So Karamazov, pretty different as far as the other Inquisitors, but he does have some interesting little fun. So the thing to note here, not a psyker. Not a psyker. However, very much like the Black Templar Brethren, doesn't like psychers. So when a psychic test is taken by an enemy model within 12 inches, you subtract 1 from the roll.
Fabulous. Get your anti-psyker going.
Yeah. In addition, when the psychic power is manifested, if it affects Karamazov, it gets to roll 2d6 dice, and if that roll is greater than the psychic test was, he gets to ignore the effects of the spell.
Okay, so the spell, I guess, still counts as going off, or maybe objectives where you have to cast
if it's
psychic powers.
An aura, everyone else would still be affected, but he would be null from the effects.
Okay.
Yeah. You still need to deny the witch to help protect you against something like that.
Yeah.
Other special rules, we're looking at Unquestionable Wisdom, which again, that's the 6-inch additional bubble on the Leadership 10.
Ah, yes.
We've got Throne of Judgment. So he's got a 4+ invuln. So if you do get up close, he's gonna take a lot of wounds to try and get him down. And given he's got 8 wounds with a 4+ invuln at toughness 5, pretty beefy.
Maybe tank a dreadnought. Who knows?
Yeah, could tie it up for a few turns.
Yeah.
And then lastly, we'll be curious to see again how much leadership's going to play into it, because he also has enemy units within 12. Enemy infantry units within 12 are -1 leadership.
So the infantry, you see this crazy guy on a throne that's walking around and go, I'm a little bit scared of that.
Yeah. It'll be curious, like, the negative leadership, because Smite goes up leadership test?
No. Smite's just Smite.
I think old school.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty much Karamazov. He's beefy, but he's not quite so scary to put in your list, because he's still got under that 10 wound mark. Hiding him behind any vehicles or anything is, pretty easy to do.
It's key. Cotiez.
Yeah, Cotiez.
On to the next. Yeah.
So, Maybe you want to touch a bit to the history of Cotiez in the competitive scene.
I think everybody has a Cotiez model lying around because of 7th edition 40k. So get excited because you may want to use him again. Yeah,
we may see him come out a lot again. So again, standard stat line, strength and toughness 3, 5 wounds, 4 attacks. He's got bolt pistol, which is always fun. Cyber Eagle, which is all the thing that everybody loves about the model, with him sitting there with that pose. It's looking at assault d6, 4 strength 4, 0 AP, so it's just a couple extra little shots to throw in.
Spy Network is a really cool ability that he has. Jack, hit us up with that.
Yeah, so Spy Network is fun. So if something shows up deep striking within 6 inches of him, himself or one of his fellow Ordo units can shoot that unit when it arrives. So much like the Space Marine Aspects, which is fun. If he's got him by himself in your unit and you haven't taken anything else Ordos, you're not going to get a lot of stuff, but always fun to do something in your opponent's turn.
So if you do take a retinue, which we'll talk about later, load it up with a bunch of guns.
Yeah.
Maybe come in handy. All right. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah. Speaking of doing things in your opponent's turn, Spy Network also says when your opponent spends a CP, once per game, you can make them have to spend 1 more CP for that stratagem to go off.
Very nice.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
If you use it early, you just get your opponent burning his CP early. Great. If you use it late, you could deny their entire ability to use something like quintessential on turn 5 when you're trying to win the game on that last point. So depending on how you use it, could be a lot of fun. At the very least, your opponent won't like it. So
that's right.
Always fun.
Always good.
Always fun.
Gonna frustrate the heck out of your opponent.
The important thing to note, your opponent will keep their CP even though it doesn't go off, but they won't be able to use that stratagem that turn.
Yeah.
So
you're stopping that key play, which is super handy. Competitive situation, let's say it's a Dark Eldar player, they're trying to vect you, and you stop a vect. How handy is that? Something, right? So
pretty awesome.
Really good.
Yeah. To finish off Cotiez, he's got a 5+ invulnerable. He's got his Nemesis mastercrafted Nemesis Demon Thunderhammer, which is pretty awesome and a mouthful, and it would be if you got one in the face.
Yeah.
So it turns him into strength 6. Now he's -1 with that, but he's probably going to get some rerolls, so you're really not so worried. He's going to do a lot of damage with that Thunderhammer. Yeah. The other fun thing to note is he casts 2 of the telepathic spells a turn, so he does a lot then also in the psychic phase to really boost what your army's going to be doing, and he gets 1 deny the psyker.
Cool. Fabulous. Last
but not least.
Iconic.
Last but not least, we got Eisenhorn. So, Eisenhorn, strength and toughness 3,
Same
5 wounds, same stat line. He's only got the 4+ base save.
He's just wearing a leather jacket.
Yeah, he likes to run...
Siri's in on... Siri, I know he's an attractive man, but go away.
Where did that even come from? Okay, so moving on to Eisenhorn's items. So we've got Artificer Bolt Pistol. Key to note here, 2 damage.
Cool, -1, yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Basically a mass-crafted bolt pistol, but he's got the Barbarister.
Barbarister. That's his staff, right? His crazy staff.
Yeah, I don't think I ever said it out loud.
Yeah. It's one of those things you read it in the book and you say it in your mind, but you're like, I have no idea.
What does it even say? So strength 3, -3.
Yeah.
So it's gonna get through a lot. D3 damage.
That's good.
That's pretty good. Also, when you're rolling to hit, add 1 to the hit roll.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah, so he's going to get through a lot of damage when he gets into melee.
So this is basically saying to me it's a 4 staff with +1 to hit. That's really good.
Yeah, a lot of hits going to come through. They're going to go through, going to do some decent damage. Now, he's got 2 melee weapons. Okay, he's only strength 3, so coming in with a strength user weapon, it can be tough. If you're dealing with something a little more hefty, he's got the rune staff.
Oh, so this is the staff. Barbarister is what? That's a 4 sword he has, maybe.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the weapon again.
Maybe like a demon sword that he's. I can't remember the story. It's been like 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, but this is definitely the staff now.
Reread the novel, kids.
Yeah. Literacy is good. We love literacy.
Yeah, so the rune staff is pretty hefty. So this is +3 strength, -1 damage, -1 save,
AP, yeah.
and D3 damage. So still getting through the same amount of damage, but making him strength 6 means anything high toughness he's going to get through on.
Yeah.
Then he's got some Electro Bane grenades. I know for my Templars, this adds a nice little bit of fun because I can't kill vehicles to save anything. So you get another little 6-inch grenade here, strength 4, -1 damage. Stat line's pretty simple, but against a vehicle, any wound roll of a 5 or 6 does a mortal wound.
Okay.
And a wound roll of a 6, and these are unmodifieds, by the way, any wound roll of a 6 does D3 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
So really handy. And if you're getting any vehicles up close to him, you definitely want to dish out some mortal wounds. So that's nice. It's a grenade, so you use it as many turns as you get the chance to.
Sure. Yeah.
The real fun with Eisenhorn. So he also gets 2 psychic spells, and he also gets to deny the witches. So he's
a beast.
Yeah, he's very much involved in the phase. One of his extra telepathic psycho abilities that's fun, he gets to summon a demon host. A demon host is kind of terrifying. I think a lot of Imperium's players would be like terrified themselves to have demon host in the board, but Eisenhorn's like, look, I know better. Yeah, I'm doing this, and he'll just pull a demon out of the ground. Now, how good is that demon going to be? It'll be interesting to see. But as long as it's within 6, Eisenhorn and that demon host, they have a little bit of fun together. Certainly when you get into the campaign games, it's a lot of fun to just like all of a sudden this demon host is like, well, I'm here, guys. What do you need? Sort of like Aladdin and Genie almost.
Got it.
So in addition, Eisenhorn's got unquestionable wisdom, so give his leadership 10 around to all your Imperium. They're going to need it when the demon host shows up. No stranger to pain. When this model loses a wound on a 6, he doesn't. So Eisenhorn doesn't feel pain. And then this last item is the Malus Condendicum. Condendicum, I think I said it right. Once per battle at the end of your movement phase, you can summon the demon host. So somewhere within 6 inches and more than 9 away from the enemy, so it's following all the deep strike rules, you can pull him out. And again, when that demon host is close, he adds 2 to the strength, toughness, wounds, and attacks.
Of himself?
Yeah. To the demon host.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then if Eisenhorn's destroyed, the demon host is destroyed.
Right, he's like holding it in phase or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, this one's what? There's 2.
Add 1 to the hit roll and wound roll, resolving attack against that model.
When within 6.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. Hold on a second. He adds 1 to the hit roll and wound roll, as well as +2 strength, toughness, wounds, attacks.
Yeah.
And add 1 to its invulnerable save for that attack.
It's interesting that they made it 2 separate rules.
Then this model's... Yeah, so that's for Eisenhorn. And that's for the demon host.
Oh, I misread it the first time.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So Eisenhorn gets his own little buff of +1 to hit and to wound. And +1 invuln save. So now he's got a 4... Does he have a 4+? What's his regular invuln save? None?
No, he's got feel no pain.
Okay, so he gets a... That doesn't make sense. Well, the demon host model that was... Oh, no, it is for the demon host. Literacy is good.
Then, when this setup with the demon host is within 6 inches of the model and more than 9 inches away from an enemy, add 2 to the model's strength, toughness, wounds, and attacks.
6 inches of this model. Yeah.
Okay, so I think you can spend... I think what it's saying is you can spend points to buy a demon host outside of this in another manner that you could summon.
Somebody tell us exactly how this works in the comments.
Yeah.
It seems strange to me.
Yeah, we'll figure that one out.
So, okay, real quick, let's just cover a demon host so that we know, is there any point in even doing this?
Yeah, so the demon host, baseline, movement 6, strength and toughness 4, weapon skill, ballistic skill 4s, hitting on 4s, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 7, and a save of 7+.
Yeah. So in cover you get a 6. So you're not buying this guy for the stat line.
Yeah.
He's got this crazy gaze attack that's strength 8. That does damage 3 on a roll of a 6 to wound, but he's got this crazy demonic power thing. So let's see what that does.
So
as a random ability, a D3. So the first one.
Yeah, at the start of your movement phase, you're gonna roll your D3. The first one until the start of your next turn. This model has a move characteristic of 12 and fly.
Cool.
So
Right.
could help you take an objective.
Yeah.
Or at least jump on a far unit you want to try and pin down and not take some shots from.
Sure.
On a 3 or 4, this model regains all of its lost wounds.
Cool. Of which it has 4, right? Okay.
Yeah. And then roll. And then on 5 and a 6 is Energy Torrent. Roll a D6 for each enemy unit within 3 inches. On a 2+, they suffer D3 mortal wounds.
That's the one you want right there.
Yeah.
So you send him in and hope he explodes in this energy torrent. Kind of cool. Could be helpful.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. And then a generic Inquisitor is something along the lines of all those, right? Stat line's all the same. They got the refractor fields. They're given their leadership. And what can they do? If this model is not a psyker and a psychic power manifests by an animal targets this model 2d6, they have got a weird deny thing.
Yeah, they've got a.
Yeah.
The base Inquisitor is, they don't. The key with them is they're only going to get 1 psychic spell. They get 1 deny the witch.
Yeah.
They still have a questionable wisdom, so you're getting that leadership bubble. They all have a 5+ invulnerable, so they're all a little, they're not super squishy, but they're all strength and toughness 3. You're going to want to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
The benefits of taking the make your own Inquisitor, is that they'll be quite easier to fit in. They'll be a little more inexpensive to try and get one of the Xeno spells or to get one spell off that you want.
So it's choose your Ordo, that's why you take it.
Yeah.
And choose your War Gear.
Yeah.
So that's why you take one
if you want one of the relic items.
Yeah.
You'll see this more probably in campaign play. I don't know if you'd see generic Inquisitor necessarily, but there could be some neat combos depending on how down the specific combo you want to get, but we'll get there in a minute.
Yeah. So we'll be right back in a second with the stats of the retinue you can take. Okay, so let's round out the retinue. Talk about the stats, how they fit in, and here we go. So 2 things you can add into your retinue.
So we've got the Jakaro Weaponsmith, and we got the Acolyte. The Jakaro Weaponsmith is a character, so choose one. The Acolyte is unit 1 to 6. Acolytes are only 8 point each, so they're kind of fun with some of the options you get. Pretty inexpensive. So for the Weaponsmith, Jakaro. I don't know what story that comes from with the.
They're like a special monkey race of people on a monkey planet. They're these. Yeah, they made a model for it once and just ran with it. And it's kind of a joke now. It's like
a Jakaro.
Hey-o!
Let's edit that one later. Somebody's made that joke and we can't make it again.
That's a dad joke. Wink, wink.
Wah, wah. Okay, so they've got sort of, as the name would imply, a bit of a melee specialist. Looking at weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 4. Weapon skill 6.
Yeah, they're not a melee specialist.
Not a melee specialist.
Not at all.
Oh, is this like the...
They're just like a mini character.
What is this model? Why haven't I never seen this before?
It's the Monkey Man. They used to shoot last cannons out of their eyes. You were never part of this age of ridiculousness.
I feel like
7th edition.
I'm going to say I wasn't born yet. So, looking at the special rules for it. So, yeah, strength 2, toughness 3, 3 wounds. But the ballistic skill 4. So the key here is going to be fun is the inconceivable customizations. Feels almost like a bit like the what's it called? It's like the Demon Host. You're going to roll D3 here at the beginning of your shooting phase and figure out what benefit you're getting. And on a 1 to 3, you're getting reroll hit rolls on a 1 and 2. Sorry. And on a 3-4, you're getting reroll wound rolls, and on a 5-6, you're getting reroll hits and wounds.
Pretty badass.
Yeah.
So that's what you're looking for.
Now, the weapons you're going to be shooting with, you're looking at you're taking either one of two profile options here. So you got the scatter shot, which is an assault 6, strength 4, -1 damage at 12-inch range.
Yep.
So it's like alright, but when you're getting in close, having an extra 6 dice, there's no roll on this. It's very much like a flamer, but you're not getting the random shots, so that's nice. And then the focus strike, which is a heavy one, strength 8, -3 damage. So an extra.
We're still shooting last cannons out of their eyes, people.
Yeah, extra little. Yeah, it's like a cyclops shot. But with those rerolls, these could be a very reliable source of some easy damage.
Yeah.
And the weaponsmith's pretty inexpensive. 18 points.
Sure.
You still have to pay for your war gear in here, but it's really not a lot of points to dole out for a couple extra shots here.
Yep.
Now the last one, and I'll let Adam go through the Acolyte and some of the thoughts he has where this could be fun. The Acolyte option is great because you can have 6 of them, and they also have the Authority of the Inquisition, so they're also going to be able to get into that transport with your Inquisitor.
Yep.
They're sort of standard guardsmen, weapon skill was skill 4, strength and toughness 3, 1 wound, 2 attacks, which is nice. And then they're very customizable, so you have a lot of options for your weapon loadout. And they also have essentially a rule that's the same as the bodyguard rule.
Take hits from the Inquisitor.
Yeah, so they're taking those wounds on a 2+. Yeah, so they can have some fun options.
Let's do it. So guardsman stat all the way across: 4+4+, strength toughness 3, 1 wound, 2 attacks. Kind of interesting, and a 5+ save. So they're a guardsman, right? They can take last pistol chain, or they have last pistol chainsword base, and then the fun part comes in where you can select weapons from the ranged weapons list, or the combat weapons list, or the pistol list, something like that.
Yeah, pistols,
melee, and range. All right.
Yeah.
So my thought here is just load them up with melta guns or plasma guns, and go to town. Full unit of 6, right? Keep it cheap, and because they're 8 points.
8 points base plus weapon, yeah.
Yeah, so your weapon, what's your melt gun running you? 10 points or something?
11 for your plasmas, and I think it was 15.
Yeah, I mean, you could even
Sorry,
go...
14 for the melta, 15 for the combat melta.
Yeah, so you could go combi, which gives you also an anti-infantry edge if you want. So you could choose both options on the gun there. Save a few points if you don't want to go combi, but probably drop down a bunch of Acolytes. You could have fun converting these guys up like crazy, like do some wild... flagellant models with combi weapons thrown in the air.
That's where a lot of the fun comes in with this model unit range, is you can pretty much model them however you want within a sort of standard human stat line guidelines. And so, when it comes to the hobby and modeling, that's where these guys, you have a lot of fun. So
that's it.
Yeah.
So for the Inquisitor, if he's given his little unit, his retinue, the rerolls, hits and wounds on characters, that's where this gets really nasty, and where you can really start to fill a niche in your army, depending what you want. So there's some stuff in the psychic powers that will help this combo a little bit later, but for now it's gonna help you get off that seize the interrogation, seize 4 interrogation stratagem, right? So kill characters, subtract leadership, regain CPs.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that's the hope there. One more psychic power, which we are going to cover soon. That'll again help this combo. But keep that on your mind as we're thinking through this, because I think that's a fun little combo. So there you go. So let's pause. We'll be right back in a moment with the Warlord traits. And we're back.
Warlord traits. Everybody likes Warlord traits, and especially important now given the stratagem that we're seeing very commonly here, where you can spend the CP and make your non-Warlord Inquisitor a Warlord. Combo stacking is going to be a lot of fun, so these Warlord traits will actually be a little more common, even though you might take only just the one character in your army, or the one Inquisitor. So the first, we're looking at 3 generic Warlord traits, and then 1 for the 3 main Ordos, being Herectus, Xenos, and Malleus. So starting off with Radical. Radical, this one's kind of interesting. Once per battle round, you can re-roll 1 hit roll, wound roll, damage roll, saving throw, psychic test, or deny the witch made for that warlord
Pretty cool.
per battle round. So you're kind of looking at 6 possible rerolls here. And given that it's all of those things, and most of these guys are psychers, even just to have that reroll once per psychic phase.
Now, is it reroll the whole psychic test, or is it reroll a dice on the psychic test?
It says can reroll 1 hit roll, wound roll, damage roll, saving throw. So looks like
Oh, no psychic test.
yeah, psychic test or deny the witch. So
you
it looks
roll
like the
both
whole
the
test.
dice. Amazing.
Yeah, so there's a lot of strong options there. If you're gonna take this with a lot of intent of getting those psychic spells off, like that warlord trait is gonna help you get it up very regularly.
Yeah. Especially with Cotias? Or Eisenhorn?
Cotias has to take one of the specific, because he's a named character, he has a specific warlord trait, so this won't be an option for him, but generic warlord certainly has this option.
Yeah.
Or generic inquisitor. So the second one is Puritan. This one's fun. Probably not amazing. You get +1 to the invulnerable save.
Alright.
I think particularly strong if you're going like with Terminator armor or something. You get a 4+ invulnerable. It's kind of nice. Makes him beefy. Probably not going to break the game, but it's nice. Number 3, formidable resolve. +1 to the leadership characteristic. So you're looking at 11, or this would be for the generics. Yeah, generics. Yeah. So you're looking at from 9 to 10, and they're increase their warlords and questionable wisdom range. So if you're going for that Inquisition bubble because you want that leadership, this is really handy on a generic Inquisitor, because now you're gonna have a 12-inch leadership 10 bubble.
Sure.
So if leadership stacking is going to be really big, or you're looking for a combo that's fluffy about that, this is a really good combo for you.
Why not?
So on to the named Ordo warlord traits. So starting with the Ordo Horectus.
Like the Order Majoris ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's not an Order Minoris for this one, which is interesting, which is where you would end up taking one of the generic traits.
Got it.
So the Ordo Horectus.
Hereticus.
I probably am under the watch now. Their warlord trait's called No Escape. This one, as a Black Templar player and a melee army player, this one kind of excites me. I think this is where you'll see some Space Marine armies will really like bringing this option to the table. So when the warlord, they could perform a heroic intervention within 6 inches instead of 3.
Okay.
Pretty handy, and you get your 6-inch move for that. Can be really handy, especially you're denying possible charge options too. You're not getting that extra dice if you're playing against a Space Marine player. Handy.
Sure.
However, where this gets extra fun is when the enemy unit you're engaged with is within 1 inch of you. If they want to break off from combat, they have to roll a d6 and a 4+. They can't fall back.
Nice.
So
it's obviously CPable if you fail.
Yeah.
Give them a really hard time with that.
Yeah. But you can. Yeah, you're either going to force an extra CP to get used to avoid this, or you're looking at.
Do you roll it as the controlling player?
Can roll a d6.
You can roll 1d6.
Yeah, sorry, my mistake. You would be our CP to get it off. But if you're really trying to lock someone up, or you want to keep your warlord locked in combat, so your Tau player doesn't just break off and shoot his whole army back at him. Yeah. Really handy to help keep him alive through one of those early turns when you get in combat.
Especially big models like broadsides, or even fighting against Space Marines if you happen to be doing that.
Yeah.
The repulsor tanks, right? Big units, lots of guns to keep them stuck in combat. It's a huge win.
Yeah. The thing to note with this, there's no way to get out of it. It's a 4+ roll, and there's no way. It's a warlord trait.
It says nope, can't do that.
Yeah, so this it could be really handy for a lot of players.
It's really powerful.
The thing to note is that Greyfax has to take this one. So Greyfax, if you end up taking them as a warlord, this is the warlord trait they have to have. They like to get in there nice and close to the Psychers, and so you can lock down one of those Chaos Sorcerers if you get a chance. Especially if you're dealing with like fly, like any drones, crisis suits. This is really good.
Yeah. It's really good.
Moving on, Ordo Xenos. So this is esoteric lore. And while the warlord is on the battlefield, Roll a d6 each time your opponent uses a stratagem, and on a 5+, you get a CP.
Come on.
That's pretty awesome.
CP farming.
That's pretty awesome. Well, and as we said in the competitive scene, we may see the Ordo Xenos be really popular if something other than Space Marines becomes competitive right now, because it's everything that's not Chaos, Imperium, or unaligned. So that stacks up with a lot of things. That's a lot of free CP farming.
It's good. And especially, there's a lot of Space Marine chapters out there that don't have a CP farm stratagem. I know Ultramarines do. Other than that, I don't know which ones would have that. And so this is a great way to get that in your army.
Yeah.
Pretty cheap.
Yeah. It's much like the Tau pen. What is it? The
Engram Nero chip.
I just write pen on the board, but yeah. So nice. All of a sudden, your Space Marine army, you get this option. It's kind of handy.
Yeah.
And then finally, the Ordo Malleus, their warlord trait being Psychic Mastery. This warlord knows an additional psychic power. In addition, they can also cast another psychic. They can manifest another psychic spell, and attempt an additional deny in your opponent's face. So
And a deny.
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty spicy what these what this one brings. Brings a lot of telepathic
Can
options.
Eisenhorn have that? Who has that?
Cotias has this,
Cotias has that.
and so I'm curious. We'll be curious to see what lines up, because Cotias' stat profile already says he can cast 2, deny twice, and knows
Deny one.
Sorry, deny 1, cast twice, deny 1, and knows smite in addition to 1 telepathic spell. So he's going to get an extra spell from here.
Oh, so one psychic power. So he's
So he only
always
knows-
smiting and doing 1 spell. That's
Yeah.
interesting. They don't let him know 2 spells. But
Unless
anyways.
he's your warlord.
Yeah.
So if he's your warlord and this is stacked in addition, so that he would know 2 spells, cast 3, and deny twice, potentially.
It's really good.
That's a lot of action from one
Yeah. It's huge.
psyker. Yeah. Okay, so that's it for the warlord traits.
Yeah, we'll be right back with some psychic powers.
It's good timing.
So psychic powers. Mind warp. Are you psychic powering me right now? Oh, jeez. Don't smite me.
I rolled double ones.
No, his head exploded. There's a demon in the room.
Now I have a headache. Maybe I'm just hungry.
So casting psychic powers is a lot like that.
Yeah. So these psychic powers, I think it's a big part of what the Inquisition guys are going to bring to the table. We did just go through the warlord traits, and there's some nice stuff in there, but I think this is a big part of the fun that these guys are going to bring to your potential Imperium army, Space Marines, Sisters. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out here. The key note to this is that you'd be taking this in addition to potentially a librarian. So, there's a lot of opportunity to bring a lot to the psychic phase coming into a phase that maybe Space Marine players or, librarians have a good place in the game, but all of a sudden you're like a heavily psychic influenced Space Marine army. Yeah. So, it's not just Chaos for a while or Eldar. Mm-hmm. Marines are might be getting on board with this. So, let's go through the spells. There are 6 from the Thessala.
Telethesia?
Telethesia. Leave it to 40K to always leave the tongue side.
Telestrations? Tessellate?
Yeah. Let's leave Elon Musk out of this. Tethesala discipline. Telethesia. Telethesia. I'm going to have to say it 52 times to get it right. Telethesia discipline. So there's 6 of them, and then there's a specific spell for each of the primary ordos.
That's crazy. You get 9 psychic powers in this book.
9 in the White Dwarf. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. If that's any sign of things to come for some of the armies in Chaos and some of the other options that might be coming in the new Psychic Awakening stuff, I know we talked about Bloat being out of 40K when 8th came along, but
it's back.
We might be back, yeah.
It's back.
And it might have a Nurgle mark on it, but it'll be Psychic, and we're going to try and go after it with our own Psychic spells. All right, let's get into these 6. These first 6. So starting with, I think one of my common favorites that we'll see a lot, Terrify. Some of you may be familiar with similar spells in this, but let's look at the mechanics right now. So it has a warp charge value of 6, so not so hard to get off. If manifested, selecting one enemy unit within 18 inches of the Psyker. Until the start of your next psychic phase, subtract one from the leadership of the enemy character, of the enemy, of the unit.
That they're casting it at.
Yes.
Yep.
Interesting to note that we're seeing more and more of these negative leaderships coming out. I'm concerned to see how much leadership is going to be big in the game again. Morale may be back.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Watch out, Space Marines.
We'll see.
Yeah.
In addition to this -1, this is where it's going to get nice for a lot of Space Marine players. You're denying Overwatch. So these guys are scared, their head hurts, and leadership is there, and they're going to watch you walk up to them and punch them in the face in that phase. So this is really nice. I know some Overwatch denying has started to creep into the Space Marine book a little bit, but always nice to have something that's a little more for sure. And unlike some of the Space Marine stuff, this is against everything, not just infantry.
Yeah. And especially with Iron Hands being a thing these days, they Overwatch on 5s and 6s. Fabulous to have the same.
Yeah. So you're even using this against Space Marines.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. I'll be curious to see how this stacks with Tau and for the greater good. I'll have to look back into that.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Yeah. Well, it would just be probably the
line.
unit that you cast it on.
Yeah.
But for the greater good, probably isn't incumbent on the unit you're charging being
Having
able to
no
Overwatch.
Overwatch. Yeah. Well, I'll check for the mechanic for that because there's probably something that already checks. So we'll see what the rules say about that one.
Yeah.
Moving on, number 2, Psychic Fortitude. This is a warp charge value of 4. So again, pretty easy to get off. If manifested, select a friendly Imperium unit. So there's a lot of models, a lot of options, vehicles, infantry. It's a lot of stuff. That unit within 12 inches of the Psyker until the next psychic phase. Oh, vehicles won't care about this. Until the next psychic phase, when you take a morale test, you're going to automatically pass.
Auto pass. Auto pass morale, casting 4.
Yeah.
Great.
Again, you might not use this a lot, but with all of this negative leadership stuff coming in,
Could be a thing.
might be good.
Yeah.
It looks like it might be good against the Inquisition. Inquisitor on Inquisitor. Yeah.
Who knows? Conflicting interests. What happens?
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there's books about that one for sure that have not come to my mind.
Yeah.
Moving on to number 3. Dominate. So, Dominate. Warp charge value of 6. If manifested, an enemy model within 12 inches of the Psyker that is not a vehicle rolls 3d6. If the roll is greater than the leadership of the model,
yes.
you can immediately shoot with the target model, sort of like the Ancient Banner. So you get one shot or one attack as if it were the fight phase. This is kind of neat. You're taking over, you're dominating. You're taking over an enemy model. Feels a bit like chaosy. Feels a bit like warp heavy.
Mind control-y.
Yeah. Again, the Inquisition, they do what they want. They have the authority to do what they want. Don't question them. And whoever gets dominated might have questioned them a little too much, and now they're going to shoot their friends.
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
It's pretty fun. Again, probably not going to break the game, but if you're going to get extra shots against something that's up close, you might be looking at something that's against or next to a character. Might be the closest thing, so maybe you can snipe off a couple shots on a rogue character who's trying to hide from you.
Yeah. Let's see what you maybe like a chaos warp smith with a conversion beamer on top. Just shoots his buddy in the butt.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
D6 damage. Yeah.
Yeah, you might use this on a demon prince who's got a demon weapon.
Yep.
Might smack something next to him. You can hit the vehicle he's standing next to.
Dominate Abaddon's brain. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to make that happen.
Drachnia.
Let's.
Yeah.
So again, it could be fun. Probably not going to win you a lot of games, but again, anytime you make something of your opponent's army do something to itself, that's
Good
fun.
times.
That's
Good
fun.
times. It's worth the gain in morale loss for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mind games.
Yeah.
All right. Number 4, we're looking at mental interrogation. Speaking of mind games.
Ooh, we're going deeper into the hole on this.
So, we're looking at a warp charge value of 6. And if manifested, select an enemy character within 12 inches of the Psyker. and visible. Until the start of the next psychic phase, when resolving attack by that model, subtract 1 from the hit roll.
Okay.
If your army is battle forged, and here's where it gets extra fun. If your army is battle forged, roll 3d6. If you roll greater than the leadership characteristic of the model, you gain another command point.
Sick.
So here we have another opportunity where you've got Inquisitor pulling in CP.
Yeah, maybe if you do this enough times, you get another Melt-a-Lance drop or whatever. The missile torpedo drop thing.
Now all of a sudden it gets a lot easier to squeeze in orbital strike with the cyclonic torpedo. Now I think it's used once.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's once per battle, but certainly at 4 CP, it means you could then get the Space Marine one in. You're going to have a lot of CP. That's kind of the feeling I'm also getting from this book. If you take Cotiez and you take that spell, like you're going to potentially force an extra CP from your opponent, as well as getting some regularly. There's some fun in here with some CP stuff. So this is where I do think you'll see maybe this into some more common Space Marine Cotiez back in the competitive scene. Ness.
Yeah. Cotiez, take this psychic power. Just run around doing that and smite all the time.
Yeah, and he's making sure that you're going to have, a couple extra stratagems you can use in the mid to late game if you've used all your dice, your stratagems early. Yeah.
Sweet.
You never know when one stratagem can be the difference between an extra command point or an extra objective. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Number 5, Psychic Pursuit. If manifested. So this is a warp charge value of 7. So a little bit higher than the other ones we've seen. It's
the hardest one they got.
Yep. Now this is one I know Adam's excited for. Ooh. So if manifested, select an enemy character that contains 10 or less
wounds. So a normally untargetable character for the sake of this stratagem, right?
Yep. So then you can select a friendly Ordo unit. So this is not a spell you would use when you're a solo Inquisitor, but you would have an Acolyte unit or a Weaponsmith.
Yeah.
That unit, if they're within 6 inches of the Psyker, they can target that character that you cast the spell on, regardless of regular character targeting rules.
So good. So that unit of guns that you just blop down there, does the Jokero Weaponsmith get the Ordo as well?
Yep.
Sweet. So your Jokero Weaponsmith with his laser cannon eyes, your unit of 6 Melt-a-Guns are just sitting there going crazy.
Yep.
Or plasma guns. Plasma guns a little bit longer range, so maybe more possible, but overcharging.
Let's recap the stacking here. So if you take an Ordo Minoris detachment here, all your dice already, then
my
because
3-year-old is going crazy. Sorry about that. When we cut scenes, we'll deal with that child. The
Inquisition.
Sick an Inquisitor on her.
So, as I was saying, so the Ordo Minoris, this is where this psychic spell gets very interesting. So you've already got a situation where the Ordo is giving you re-rolling hits and wounds against characters. And now you've got a unit of 6 Acolytes that have Melt-a-Guns. These Melt-a-Guns all have reroll hits and wounds, even though their only weapons go 4. Mm-hmm. So you're getting a pretty high hit ratio.
Yeah.
You're now within 12 inches because you're shooting Melt-a-Guns. So you're shooting 6 Melt-a-Guns, rerolling hits and wounds on a 4+ within 12 inches. And you're targeting any character you want.
Yeah. And because you can get it in any Imperium tank, you're also getting those Melt-a-Guns into range.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be key. Not getting shot up with these cheap little guys is definitely going to be really important having a transport, but you get these guys out. It sort of reminds me of, you have to remind me if it's what's the Sisters unit that comes out with a bunch of Melt-a-Guns?
Yeah, Dominion Squad. Yeah. This is a crazy Dominion Squad running up the battlefield.
Yeah.
In a Space Marine Impulsor, no less. That either has a 4+ vulnerable save or is dropping orbital bombardments. It's super cool.
So speaking of jumping out of an Impulsor, so that's where this combination is going to get particularly really fun. So you're going to jump out, you're going to have 6 Acolytes, all with Melt-a-Guns, and they're going to have this Psychic Pursuit spell up. So they can be able to target a character, regardless of regular targeting rules. Then, because of their Ordo ability, they're going to get reroll failed hits and wounds. So you're going to get 6 meltagun shots picking off somebody. So if you manage to get picking off a character you've chosen, and if you manage to get that Inquisitor up nice and close, then you're going to get that stratagem off for Seize the Interrogation, which is then going to cascade, getting you that CP and throw out that negative leadership.
Yeah. So very doable, very possible
Yeah.
with this tank and combo and psychic power thing going on. So, yeah.
That negative leadership again, that's going to lead into, as we've seen a couple of them, this last psychic spell. This is where some of that leadership stacking might all come in a combination here. So this last spell, Castigation. So Castigation, warp spell 6. Warp charge value 6. Select an enemy unit within 18 inches of the Psyker. Roll 3d6 dice. If you roll higher than their leadership, they take d3 wounds.
Bam.
Yeah.
So just another, like, you do
Smite 2.0. Yeah. So you're gonna be able to use both of those, which is great. So if you're just going for straight mortal dice pounding, like,
Yeah.
it's a great option.
Yeah.
So
And all this leadership stuff is going to help you get Dominate off, too.
yeah, and then there's shots fired
There
everywhere.
you go.
So that makes it for the core 6. Bunch of pretty good options. I think, there's probably 3 really good standouts depending on what you're doing with your list. But certainly give you some good options. I know I really like Terrify. I think I'll see that one a lot. But
Sure, yeah.
also free CP. Gonna be great.
Can't be mad at that.
So getting into the last 3.
Ordo Majoris ones.
Yeah. So starting with the Ordo Hereticus. Here we have a
Herectus.
I don't know why I didn't.
Yeah, you said it right this time. I'm so proud of you.
So, if manifested, a unit within 12 inches of the Psyker until the start of your next phase subtracts 1 from its attack characteristic.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
It's really good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You're going to come in and assault them, or they're going to come in and assault you, and you're just like, yeah, you know what? Bring your pillows.
Yeah.
Bring them.
Update on the football game?
What's that, Siri? In addition, roll 2d6 of the highest leadership characteristic in the unit until the next psychic phase. When resolving attacks by that unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll if you rolled.
Equal to or higher than leadership?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, again, leadership coming into play.
Yeah.
Right?
So, and that -1 is pretty good. You already smacked them with a -1 die. You're really just kind of saying, I'm going to tar pit that unit. You're big, you're scary, and
Yeah.
I don't want you to be.
Sounds like your Black Templars would not like that.
No, they really, really wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
No. Key to know, this one comes with the Hereticus. So you're looking at rerolls against Chaos and Psychers stacking in with that. So you're going to reroll a lot, and they're going to reroll a lot less and have to reroll more dice because of the -1. So it's an interesting little shift in that matchup. Could be pretty strong.
Sweet.
Yep. Moving on, Ordo Xenos. This is, again, kind of a fun one with a potential option that we sort of talked about with Psychic Pursuit when you're trying to snipe a character with a unit. This will give you a chance to get one of those units up nice and close. So Psychic charge value of 5. If manifested, select a friendly Ordo Xenos unit within 6 inches of the Psyker, and they sort of count as a character. So specifically, they can only be targeted if they are the closest visible enemy unit. In addition, they can only be charged if the target was within 6 at the beginning of the charge phase.
This is my favorite for my fancy little combo.
Yeah.
Because your Impulsor goes up ahead of the game, right? The little gang of inquisitorial troops.
Yeah.
And they hide behind it, and they can't be targeted in return. So good.
Yeah. Those guys will stick around for another turn, give you another shot, maybe at getting Psychic Pursuit off again at another character if they got something kicking around.
Now, if you're doing this, it is Ordo Xenos, so you're not getting this with your Ordo Minoris.
You won't get your reroll characters, but you'll still get your rerolls if it happens to be Tau or Eldar.
True. Yeah,
so,
if it's any Xenos character.
So that still stacks really well with the Acolyte combo. Just not going to be against Chaos or Space Marines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still could be really good. And then moving on to Ordo Malleus. I like this one a lot too with my Templars. Psychic charge of 6. Although I know I just said psychic Charge and Black Templars in a similar sentence, but not a librarian, so we're cool with that. I think I might see this with my Templars.
They just have authority over you.
Yeah.
So you have no choice.
It's true, actually. Yeah.
So, you know how we have disdain for authority? There's a lot of that going on.
So, if manifested, select a friendly Imperium unit that's infantry or biker. So, pretty specific, but any of those units that's within 12 inches of the Psyker gets a 5+ invulnerable.
Cool.
That's pretty awesome. Obviously against Terminators or something, you're not going to use that, but if you got a big unit of anything, Incursors, Assault Marines, Vanguards, it's going to be really handy to have a really high odds 5+ invul on that unit when you know you're going to throw them into a big assault or they're about to leave an assault and get shot a lot. You throw up that 5+ invul and then hopefully stick around a turn.
It's going to help. Yeah, it's going to help. For sure.
That's it for the psychic spells.
Cool. We'll be right back with some relics. And here we are, the final section, relics. So we'll just cover these real quick. We'll let you read most of them, but we're just going to highlight a couple favorites. So my favorite is definitely good old classic upgrade for Imperium, digital weapons. And basically all this is an extra attack that you get to make where if you hit, you do mortal wound on the enemy. So really great to just sneak in an extra free wound.
Yeah. Especially if you're, a lot of the time you're already looking at having a reroll or a hit opportunity. You're sort of looking at a 3+, 2+ kind of odds to get that mortal wound off. That's pretty nice, and it's every turn. So every turn you're attacking to get a free mortal wound. Well, high chance mortal wound. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Note, you can only take these on the unnamed characters. So if you build your own chaplain, Inquisitor, same thing.
You've been thinking a lot about chaplains recently.
Black Templars on the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a fun option, and it leaves a lot into the fun of the hobby too, because it's a very generic type of relic, so it sort of constitutes any of the secret things an Inquisitor might have found on his many journeys. So when you're building your own, if you've got a really cool piece of war gear that you really just love the way it looks and you want to model it, it's a fun chance to kind of...
That's my digital weapon.
Yeah, throw it in as a digital weapon. I think I really like if you're going with Ordo Xenos, I like the corrosive weapon, biocorrosive poison. It's really fun. Basically, whenever you're resolving a melee attack, and this is with any weapon basically, when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by this model that is not a vehicle or Titanic, you're wounding on 2s.
Great.
That's pretty awesome, especially since most of these guys are strength 3.
Perfect.
So even with a Thunderhammer, you're looking at strength 6. Yeah. Thunderhammer with this, strength 6, wounding anything on 2s.
Yeah. All of a sudden, because he's Xenos, right? All of a sudden, those big Carnifexes, Hive Tyrants, they're getting scared.
Yeah. And if you have any of the reroll wound benefits up, you're getting really efficient wounds through. It's going to be great.
There's some other cool weapons and stuff in there, but we'll let you guys read those and have some fun exploring this.
Yeah.
So let's end with some final thoughts on the Inquisitor.
So final thoughts, I have fun. I'm excited by this. I don't know how many people thought we were going to get a little relaunch of sort of the Demon Hunter feel back into the current meta with what's going on. I know we had a lot of Space Marine stuff come out, so it's just nice to see it kind of get brought into the same flavor of what's going on there. Mm-hmm. I clearly feel like they had some sense that they wanted some piece of this going on in the meta, given that they've made it so specifically clear that this does not break any of your chapter doctrines, Devastator Doctrine, all your stuff is still active. So I think that it's going to be fun to see these in, and there's fun little pieces. It looks like maybe the Imperium is kind of needed that bring it in a rounded out place, and I think we're going to see this is an interesting tipping point for what else will come out maybe in the Psychic Awakenings, and
indeed
we'll see maybe some variation of these tools, but we're going to see them for all of the armies broken out. So I'm really excited. Plus, I always like having Cotillas run around. He just looks great. Like, how does every game not better just with him standing around with that eagle on his hands?
Yeah, totally. My thoughts are probably most of the time you're going to see this used to amp up your narrative games, campaign games, that kind of stuff. But I think you may find in little niches here and there a place where this could be in a competitive army or two, depending. So for the most part, this is pretty fun. It's for all that flavor, telling stories, goofing around with your buddies. But, you know, don't be surprised when someone drops something on you that you weren't expecting. So there you go. Yeah. Is that exciting?
Well, and until next time, keep your head down. Don't let the Inquisition after you.
Yes.
And you can be ready to watch the next video.
That's right. So if you like this, jump down there, hit subscribe, like, share, whatever you want. There's a bunch of points of contention there, things we just didn't know about. So have fun in the comments. Let's have a chat about it. You can clear some things up and help us learn all these rules a little bit better ourselves.
Yeah.
And if you really like this video, you can jump down to our Patreon link, where for as little as $1 a video, you can support everything that we do at the channel. Painting tutorials, battle reports, all that fun stuff. So we'd love if you could do that. You can also buy a cool t-shirt. I'm not wearing mine at the moment, but you can jump down in the link and check it. No, none of you, just bare-chested.
Just Kawhi. Just Kawhi.
Come on, represent. We are the North.
We're fun guys.
Yeah. Yeah. And NBA champs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Moving on.
That's it. We will see you guys at our next encounter.
Like a monkey in a rocket on his way back